Care cost could be equal to the total government budget.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I appreciate that, like your government is doing something for the kids,
Yeah.
right? For seniors, right?
Yeah.
But at the other hand, like,
Yeah.
sometimes we have to look at the balance of
Yeah.
the society.
Yeah.
All right.
You're right.
All add up to the total expenses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then what kind of expenses?
Yeah.
What kind of percentage
Yeah.
of the healthcare costs?
So you're very right, okay? So the number one healthcare cost right now is the hospital, okay? So that's why we're trying to push the services out in the community, okay? The number two cost of healthcare is nursing home, like Yi Hao Ma Zhang, okay? Every day, if you have a loved one at Yi Hao Ma Zhang, Tender Care, Shepherd Village, okay? It costs the taxpayer about $80,000 a year per long-term care bed, okay? So that's why we want to push people out in the community at your house, okay? Because it will always be cheaper to keep you at home, okay? So than a hospital or nursing home, okay? I'm glad you asked me about the healthcare costs, okay? Here's the problem right now, okay? Even if I build all 30,000 nursing bed, the nursing home bed for Yi Hao Masha, it's not going to be enough, okay? Because you know what happened 20 years ago? Well, not even 20 years ago, about 18 years ago. We built too many beds. Guess what happened? Those seniors with housing problem are all there. Okay? I go to Yi Hong, I go to Manjiang, I go to Shepherd Village. I said, how long you been there? Oh, 15 years. How long you been there, Joseph? Oh, another 12. Really? So guess what? The seniors now can't get in. Because you have hogged that bed 12 years ago, 15 years ago, when you shouldn't have been there. Okay, you see what I'm getting at? Right? So we now have a crisis. Because when we built too much before, they're not everybody in. They let everybody in. Because the bed has to be filled. But they don't think about, is it more affordable than keeping you in the community, right? How do you tell somebody right now, 85 years old, have been living there for 15 years, say, you need to get out now because another senior has been there? That's not ethical, okay? So we got to be very careful because we now have a different system, right? Every 25 years, you either have too many kids or too many seniors. Right now, we have too many seniors, right? In this area, Fiona could tell you, we got a lot of people in the 100 club, meaning they're 100 years old. Like before Arnold passed away, he and I talk a lot, right? He had a grandmother, 104, living at home. Okay, now you tell me, okay? So we got to be very careful. If you build more Yi Hong bed, which I agree, but in 25 years, who's going to live there? Right? Can you close it down and convert it? I don't know, okay? When I was on the school board, we converted some of the school to become nursing home bed. Okay, because we have no kids. But there comes a time in 20 years we'll need the school again. So we're going to kick everybody out because the beds are empty, get into a school in the classroom. That's going to be very expensive to renovate. Okay, so the healthcare costs, that's why we try to cap that hospital. We want to put more services in the community, having more visiting nurses, having more services from the physiotherapists at home. The other piece with having the day program, like Care First has a lot of day program, right? My writing here, Trans Care has a lot of Meals on Wheels program there, okay, keeping them at home. So in this budget, we also funding right now, if the budget gets passed, is a $750 to help seniors to be staying at home, okay, living at home, okay, it's a benefit,
so
okay?
If you're a senior,
okay.
you live in your own home,
yeah.
every year you can get $750.
So, okay.
For people to help you to mow the lawn,
yeah.
to like shovel
snow, right? So, or doing grocery or making food, okay? You might not need the $750 at one shot. You can spread it out throughout the week or throughout the year, okay? But the concern I have, because I'm that sandwich generation, okay? We have to balance everything, okay? We were, the book was balanced, okay? Until this budget kicked in, okay? remember, if we stop doing the infrastructure from hospital to school to the highway to the Eglinton line, the budget would be balanced. The other thing what you guys don't talk about, the city will tell you, the mayor would do, we have put lots of stuff come back to Ontario to pay for, like the welfare stuff, okay? Because in the old day, Mike Harris download everything from Ontario to city. Okay, that's why people are upset. Okay, the city has to take responsibilities to housing. Okay, the number one issue, talk to Mayor Tory, is housing. That's what people are on the street right now. Okay, it's 25 years. Anything you do, think about 25 years. Don't think about one budget cycle at a time, because it was that long ago when it started with Bob Ray when he was the NDP premier, then Mike Harris, then McKinsey slowly coming back to help the people. Okay, it was Bob Ray closed the mental health hospital and people living on the street. Most of the people on the street are mental health problem or having drug problem. Okay. In minus 40, who sleep on the street unless you have a mental health problem? That's called the way it is, okay? So we got to be very careful, okay? Because I hear your complaint about the concern about the budget. That's why we're trying to hold down the doctor's salary. When right now, about $54 billion, over $11 billion is doctor's compensation. What does it say? Where do we give more money to the nurses, which is cheaper? Okay, or a PSW, personal support worker, instead of the hospital, or in a case of like we built some beds at Care First. So Care First, the top floor, they have what they call transitional bed. So when they leave, they have a broken hip, they can't stay in the hospital anymore. They need more rehab. So we send them to Care First on the top floor to do some rehab, okay, which is the right thing to do, and it's cheaper, okay? But if you keep them in the hospital, that's $1,200 a day. A day. It's even more expensive than a hotel downtown, okay? So you could be in a penthouse if it's cheaper, okay? So the healthcare costs keep going up. The other piece with the drug, then the second of the top three costs of the healthcare is drug. Okay, so by forcing Trudeau to work with us, okay, that's what we let Minister Hoskin go to Ottawa, okay, so we can have more power with the drug company, okay. So I know Apotec chairman just got murdered recently, right? The Glaxo Wellcome, Pfizer, these are big international company. The power of Ontario government is very important, okay? Bless you. We can then trade, okay? We'll buy the big bulk, it'll be cheaper, okay? Because the top three costs for healthcare is salary, drugs, and the whole issue infrastructure, okay? So that's why you cannot negotiate. Small little company like Shoppers Drug Mart doesn't cut it, okay? You need big company like Ontario government because they're afraid to deal with us. So that's why we're forcing Trudeau to do the same, okay? Because you cannot go to OHIP, because the OHIP can do so much, only in a hospital and visit your doctor. But every time you go to see a doctor, before you leave, they give you a prescription. Who fills that? Your pocketbook. Unless the government of Ontario takes over, okay? Because this is where the cost is. You got to bring it down, okay? Right now, the inflation, you know the inflation. But right now, the cost for healthcare, we're giving them over 4% this year. It's still not enough, okay? Because the buildings getting old. The buildings are getting old. Okay, I have a hospital here in Scarborough, 50 years old. The Birchmount site is almost 40. Okay, just like your house. If you don't put the roof on, my friend, you're going to have a leaky roof. Okay, so, all right, bye, Kenneth. Thank you for being here. Okay, all right, so are there any other question you want to ask me? You want to see?
I ask the question?
Okay.
You know, I like you talking about traffic, healthy, education, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But my question is how you balance the budget.
Yeah.
Always send money, no money back.
Okay. So there is some money piece, okay? Number one, we got to keep people working, okay? When they work, they pay taxes. It's like the mother who can't find jobs or because they have children at home, the daycare issue, they can't go to work. Because right now, the cost of daycare is about $25,000 living in Toronto, okay, for daycare, okay? So if every mother can go to work, they pay in taxes. Okay, that's number one. Number two is depending on the income. In the budget, it will say if you make $73,000 or more, depending on your income, your tax will go up. Okay, so you make about $130,000 a year, your income tax will go up about $200 per year. Okay, so the more money you make, you will be paying a little bit more. Okay, but it balances out because you think about it. If you had to pay your own OHIP, it will cost you a lot more money. Okay, if you pay for the highway, okay, we still have a really good highway. As long as you don't use the 407, you'll be fine. Okay, we built a new highway over 412 there. That's Ontario Highway. Yes, it is a paid highway, but it's a lower rate. If you use the 412 over there, that is Ontario rate, not the 407 rate. Okay, so that's why it's very important. Okay, so the other piece here is we want to clamp down on the fraud, the underground economy. Okay, because lots of people still not paying taxes. You're looking at about $3 billion not paying taxes. Okay, under the table stuff. Okay, so that's why I say to people, let's be respectful, pay the taxes. Yes. Our taxes may be seen as more than the United States, but look at the care we give you, right? From school to health care to the roads. Like we don't have the pothole compared to America. Look at America. You go to American Highway. I drove to Boston in August. Okay, I drove there because I wanted to stop by to see some of the states, to visit some of my colleagues in the state in the New York area, and there were a lot of potholes. And every highway in America is private. It's not owned by the state. Okay, so they have to pay every time you go another stretch. There's a toll. We don't do that here unless you do the 407. That's your business, right? So it's very, very important. The other piece is we're looking at ways to deal with, it won't happen right away. In about 3 years, we will see some return from the marijuana sale. Okay? Right now, the first couple years, marijuana, cannabis, okay? Cannabis, okay? Right now, the cannabis file, lots of Chinese don't understand, okay? I could tell you what is the misunderstanding, because I was out this morning. I was knocking on the door this morning, okay? So first of all, the Prime Minister telling us we have to do this, okay? That's number one. Number two, if you talk to high school kids, they all smoking marijuana. You can stop them, give them a ticket, and go to jail, okay? But you know the worst part about marijuana, giving them a ticket, it's going to affect the jobs later. Because when you have a ticket and it's on the record, you cannot be a doctor, you cannot be a lawyer, you cannot be a nurse, you cannot be a politician. Okay? Because you made a mistake when you're 15. Now, should you have that life sentence for the rest of your life? That's bad, okay? The other thing is, about 2 months ago, I read a report from York Region. Okay? Now, we're in Toronto. York Region, their health report, almost 30% of the high school students at York Regions, Markham, Richmond Hill, Vaughan, there's lots of Chinese there, almost 30% of high school students smoking marijuana. These are high school kids. So do we throw the books at them, give them a ticket, and what? Okay? Not going to solve the problem. They're going to keep smoking marijuana. Okay? So do we control it so they don't get the bad drug called marijuana and sell it like liquor, like the LCBO? Okay? In Ontario, unless you're Doug Ford, okay, we as a government saying it would sell like the LCBO, which is a good thing. Okay? Instead of a corner store selling chocolate and marijuana next to it. Because that's what Doug Ford wants. He wants to sell in a corner store. I don't agree with that. Okay? This is an adult product. It cannot be sold until you're 19. Why are you selling it in a candy store? I want to go to, Fiona could tell you, I love chocolate. I don't want marijuana next to my chocolate bar. Okay? Because that's wrong. Because this is adult product. It should be sold like an adult. Okay? So the other piece the government has to figure out is once we build up these infrastructure, we have to pull back some of the stuff that we fund. Okay? For example, we're going to have to figure out the transit file because once we build this up, we're going to less money going there and then we're going to do something else. Okay? We got to keep more people into the job, invest in Ontario, and the trades, okay? That's why the premium went to China 3 times, okay? But we also think about India. India is another big powerhouse, okay? India has a lot of technology. I just want people to know, okay? Some of the technology is the internet, and sometimes the India part scares me, is the safety, okay? They will phone you doing this scam. Some of them are from India. Okay,
software.
exactly. Okay, so be careful. Okay, so the number one issue that I'm very concerned about is the whole issue of people not proper paying taxes. Okay, people will say, "Oh, your tax is too expensive," but they want service, they want school, they want university, they want healthcare. Well, who pays that? All of us pay for it. Okay, so that's why it's very, very important. We have to say, when we say universal, meaning everybody pays, just like everybody put in the pot is cheaper, okay? But when you pay individually, it's more expensive, right? Okay, that's why it's very, very important. I've been the immigrant kid. I still believe Canada is the best country. Ontario is the best province. Look at the stuff we're doing. We're still number one when it comes to education. Okay? We're still number one when it comes to healthcare. Like, why do you think Google is investing in U of T? Google and Mars downtown, okay? Because of our healthcare. Because the Mars at University and College Street, okay? The Mars building there is owned by the government of Ontario, okay? That building is leading the way it comes to medicine and research, which is a good thing, okay? But Google, like Google, will not come to Ontario, to Canada, if the government of Ontario don't help them. From taxes, okay? For example, one of the top industry in Ontario is the film, the TV, okay? TIFF, you know what I'm talking about, TIFF, okay? Number one sector. Because not just TIFF, they also have the catering business, the carpentry, the set for the theater, right? Okay? So the number one film studio after California is Ontario. Mm-hmm. So every year, the film festival in September, number 3 in the world is in Toronto. Number 3. Okay? If you don't believe, it helps a lot of job. Okay? There's a rich man, you probably know him, the Bronfman. Bronfman. He's a Jewish family. Paul Bronfman is a son of the original founder, Seagram, from Montreal. Okay? He's based here in Toronto. Very rich Jewish man, okay? He owns one of the biggest studio in Toronto, okay? Right here, okay? He supports Ontario government, okay? He also has a disability. He's on a wheelchair, okay? He can live anywhere. He has lots of money. He's worth billions, okay? His grandfather owns the whiskey store in Montreal, Seagram. If you go to the liquor store, it's called Seagram. It's whiskey, okay? So there are 4 or 5 generations right now. He is based here in Toronto, okay? He's here in Toronto because of the health care and the TIFF. Because he has a disability. He's in a wheelchair. He has lots of money. He could go to New York. He can go to California. But he's here, okay? So even rich people, they say, I don't mind paying a little bit to get something, okay? If we all say, no, we're not paying, we're going to might as well be America, okay? Because all of us have to pay. So I want to say thank you for joining me for lunch. I hope I will see you some more. So Tuesday evening at Delta, Wednesday morning, the health announcement is uniquely different, okay? In this area, I have a health center, that is exclusively for refugees. Okay, meaning, immigrant. I have an OHIP card, okay? Because when you come to Canada, not just in Ontario, okay, other provinces, same thing. You come here in March until after 3 months, then your OHIP kicks in, okay? So this refugee center will help you if you have health problem, okay? You don't need an OHIP card, okay? So we're making an announcement on Wednesday. I have an itchy nose. On Wednesday at the Refugee Health Center on Shepherd between Kennedy and Midland, okay? I don't have the exact address. If you want to come, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's a very different kind of health center. Dr. Paul Crawford, he's a British doctor, but train in Britain, come here in Canada. See, this is another reason why. Okay, so we have a lot of doctors from Britain, not staying in Britain, coming to Canada, coming to Ontario. So he runs that center. Okay, so that's why it's very, very important. A lot of people coming to Ontario for a reason. They're coming here not because we're nice. We have good weather. We don't have lots of good weather. Okay, we are a good province, but we look after everybody, right? So I hope you have a good Easter. And next week is Qingming, right? So happy Qingming too. Yes, I had to do that too for my grandma.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Next week is Qingming. I think April the 5th, right? Qingming.
Every year
Okay.
different.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
use the Chinese,
Did you guys have enough to eat? Do you guys want something to eat? So I hope to see you on Wednesday. On Tuesday with the Minister of... Remember last year we always have an event with Minister Souza after the budget, right? So we'll do the same thing on Tuesday night at the Delta Hotel, okay? So I should give you some things here. Paper. Let me give this to you. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. You give it. Okay.